We're excited and we're doing this. We're having a good time. It's a song I wrote for you guys now about breaking down code challenges. With me, Kristen. I am an alumni volunteer with the Turing Repeaters Posse, and I try to help answer questions about getting jobs in the software engineering field. Exciting stuff. Today I wanted to talk through breaking down code challenges. So before you tackle any code challenge, I want you to support yourself first, just like I talked about with the interview video. Have I rested? Have I eaten? Have I watered myself like a ficus? Did you do any positive self-talk? Support yourself to try to help the mental shutdown, which is when you get really anxious and you just want to stop and you're feeling overwhelmed and overloaded. Hopefully, following these steps will give you some tools to deal with that. So I remember this Shel Silverstein poem about eating a whale. It boiled down to, how do you eat a whale? One bite at a time. So how do I tackle a really big problem? Break it down into bite-sized pieces. A lot of the time, it's not that you can't do something, it's that it seems really big and complex and you don't understand how to get to the end. But that's why we're going to take some steps to get there. So the first thing I would say is read through the problem. And I mean read through it all the way. Don't just skim it. Don't try to just jump right in. Read all the way through the problem. And whether you're with someone or not, you can read it out loud. Hearing something really helps me digest information. After I'm done reading it, then I take notes and I reword the problem as I'm going. I try to break it down in a way that makes sense to me, because a lot of the time, the problem is I don't understand the way it was written. So if I translate it into a way that makes sense, then I have an easier time of starting. So notes can be kind of general, but just a way to help you make sense of the problem. If you're around another human, just make sure that you're giving them the opportunity to give you feedback as you're going. So this could be a first part where they could jump in and kind of guide you on the right path if you've gotten off. So now I want you to pseudocode. After you have your notes, now I want you to pseudocode. And the difference is each line of pseudocode should be directly translated into a line of code. This is my example here. And when I read over each line, I can exactly picture the way that I would write that code out. My other tip would be to check as you go. You might get a little bit excited, try to rush through to the end, and all of a sudden, you're dealing with a variable that's different than you thought. It's returning something else. So just check as you go. Make sure that you're dealing with what you think you're dealing with. If you're around someone else, talk them through what you're doing. Hey, I've got this array of robots. I just want to make sure that each robot is an actual object, or whatever you expect to see. Talk them through it. One tip I will give JavaScripters is if you're console logging something, do another argument that's a string that's very specific about where you're at and what you're console logging. In case you build up a few console logs, then you can kind of keep track of where you are and what you're logging. If you start to panic, try to break things down. If your function's not working, where is it being called? Am I passing the right arguments? Is it expecting the right parameter? If you're stuck on what do I do next, then read through the pseudocode. That was your roadmap. That's why you wrote it. If you don't finish, this can happen, especially if you're applying for a more junior role or even sometimes a mid-level role. It's totally okay not to finish. If you're alone, submit what you have. If you're in front of people, try to explain what you are going to do next. And if you're around someone, you can actually ask for feedback, which is nice. Either way, if you can talk to somebody, do try to tell them where you are going next and maybe what you are stuck on. If you manage to complete the problem later, you can always send it to them and say, hey, I actually did manage to do that next step. Here it is. So one bite at a time, you will eat this whale. Please don't actually eat whales. It's a metaphor. Whales are beautiful and endangered species. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Kristen. I'm putting these videos on YouTube now. You can check me out at Codezina. Notice the O is a cool 0. I've got like 3 subscribers now. So that ad money should be rolling in soon.